paid paid Hitler.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he donated money to the Nazis.
Henry Ford?
Henry Ford. Like
How?
that's an actual thing. Like a lot of big companies in America paid the Nazis. Like donated, contributed to their like actual money. Henry Ford wasn't an anomaly.
Really?
Fuck no. Yeah, 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 for real.
Hold on. But no clear historical evidence shows that Henry Ford directly paid financial funds to the Nazi Party, though his anti-Semitic writings and in Wikipedia deeply influenced the Nazis. So even if he didn't he didn't pay, he was deeply anti-Semitic. And if he
Now I
did,
watched that joint. What's it called? Y'all watch that joint? Uh, Kill All the Brutes. That new documentary out.
that joke. And I have a Ford Explorer, yo.
So I'm telling you, Henry Ford was a bad guy, man.
Yo, I have a Ford Explorer. But yeah, there is contradictions all the time, man. That's the funny thing. That's the crazy thing about this, man. Welcome to the podcast, yo. What's good, good people? As I repeat, welcome to the podcast, the correctly mistaken podcast. Alongside, as always, my brother, that man Punch.
What's good, brother?
I'm your boy Osei. Hope you guys had a good weekend. I hope you kept it light. Didn't do nothing too crazy. Worked too hard. And if you did, we are fighting for your liberation. That's everybody working 2 or 3 jobs because they got to, because they got to make ends meet, and I get it. But at the same time, we got to be fighting for the liberation, so you don't got to do that. Nobody should be doing that. We should be having our creative juices flowing, enjoying life. One job paying, enough living wage. If you want to do extra, you can, but not by necessity. But we appreciate you guys listening and being a part of this. I just feel like I'm just vibing out right now. Because it's been a crazy morning. Did you see RFK, a complete lunatic,
Dog
on Dana
State
Bash?
of the Union.
Yeah, Dana Bash is.
Yeah, that shit was insane. That whole show was insane.
I mean, for her to say, "Can I talk on my own show?" I'm like, why are you telling him own your show? You letting that man talk crazy, and you
Gotta
ask
cut
me,
that
"Can
dude,
I
Mike.
talk?"
Yeah, that shit was insane, bro.
For that man to blame the rise of measles on COVID. I'm like, this dude is legit a lunatic.
That
And,
dude.
and it was so weird about it with Maha, make America healthy again. I do agree with some of the components that he talks about with the processed foods and stuff that needs to be changed up in our food. Absolutely.
Mediocre white man.
But other than that, and then it's so funny.
Mediocre white man. Mediocre white
Oh
man
yeah,
at best.
but
That's all we could.
why is he up there? What's his last name, bro?
Kennedy, but like he was supposed to be a Democrat. Like that's
Remember what Trump said? You gotta,
we're
gotta,
being led by a bro science. Our health initiatives are being led by a bro science guy, man. That like
gotta have a Kennedy. You have a Kennedy in your cabinet. You know your cabinet's going places. He said some
dog.
variation of that. He literally said some variation of that. Just the fact that his name is Kennedy is the reason why he's the health and human secretary. And it's but the Republicans voted for him. No Democrat voted for him. It's party lines, people. So we got to remember how the parties are different. The Republicans voted for that hack, Cassidy, Bill Cassidy, who all of a sudden got a backbone, voted still for that hack, and he's a medical doctor and still got his vote, knowing that man is a lunatic that's trying to connect vaccines with autism.
He's a fucking heroin addict
Bro,
for
like,
14 years. The guy that's running our health institutions was a former 14-year heroin addict, bro. If that is not the most DEI and their version of DEI we could possibly get,
yeah,
mediocre white men, bro. The cabinet's filled with them.
it's the whole cabinet.
You know, the crazy part is what was like for
Hey, outside
all
of Marco Rubio,
for all of the mediocre white men.
a
I
loser
ain't
ass,
even gonna give him no Cuban. He a white man.
he a loser.
Uh, at least like our founding fathers were like smart guys. They were like they knew their business.
Yeah, they
You
were
know what I'm saying? Like a
out.
lot of our presidents, like there's a lot of many flaws with all of them or whatever, but most of them were like learned men, educated men,
Yeah, most of them get.
especially our founding fathers.
Yeah, they had their prejudice. They could have been racist. I mean, they could have had their issues. We know they had slaves. We knew they had their issues.
Yeah. They were pedophiles. They were rapists. They were brutal. You know, inhumane.
But somehow they would separate that and be a somebody that when it was time to be in parliament or time to be in times of forming things, they were there as well, taking that seriously, even though their character might have been awful. But at
Yeah,
that time, being white men, and it still goes to this day, white men,
they were
mediocre,
at least educated and knew their business, right?
at least,
Like
at least they
George
had,
Washington wasn't great at war, but he knew how not to lose,
yeah.
right? Like FDR was like well educated, you know, well traveled. Like you know, Abraham Lincoln was I want to say he was a lawyer. Like a lot of these guys were lawyers, like well read,
But see, eventually,
like men of arts. Like these guys.
when racism leads if when racism is in the forefront of your mind,
Uh,
and how do you figure out any way to make sure black folk don't get ahead? You'll put people ahead who don't have no business being ahead, and it
uh,
becomes a norm. It becomes a way of doing things, whether it's what you know or who you know, not what you have, and that directly comes from the case of being able to hire who you feel comfortable with, no matter what that person may come with. So then, that's why do you think they attack DEI? Like you mediocre. They straight attack DEI, saying diversity, equity, and inclusion some kind of way causes diversity. I mean, causes division.
and I know we're gonna get into this clip soon, but that cabinet meeting, man, that that's gonna go down in history as some of the most shameful shit in U.S. politics history.
Bro, it.
So because of you, dear President Trump, you know the economy is doing well and all that shit, bro. That has to be the most cuckish shit we've ever seen from the team of rivals, where Lincoln's whole intention was to put people around him that disagreed with him or challenged his even to his detriment. He got a vice president that did enormous damage to black folks in America. But we went from that to these dudes just for hours verbally sucking Donald Trump off. Like it's insane.
Well, it's their economy to them is doing well, and that's the issue. They're so out of touch, and to them everything's doing well because
Yeah, but where's their dignity? Even if they did that, where's the dignity? It's like The whole it's so anti-American to
Yeah,
watch.
because at the end of the day, they believe they understand this white supremacy. They are what they say America is. What's anti-American
That's
according to them. Like when you're saying you're not for the Patriots, they're not talking about the fact that you stand up for your constitutional rights. It's because you don't support a January 6th insurrection when they attacked the Capitol. But no, those are patriots. Like, no, they're not. That's treasonous. I mean, treasonous. Like you think about the Confederate flag, we always talk about it. It's a treasonous flag. It
yeah,
represents treason.
yeah.
I mean, period. You and to this day, well, today, to this day, excuse me, they consider it being a point of pride. No, it's Southern pride. Your Southern pride is a representation of a treacherous, treasonous flag. Represents your Southern pride, and for
And
people
they lost.
allowed them to get away with it. See, that's the issue. We allowed them to get away with it. They
Yeah.
were never properly punished.
The Confederate flag should be illegal.
It should be illegal. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It it should be illegal to be able to have that flag waving. And it has
Yeah.
nothing to do with the South. They represent the South trying to continue to have slaves as currency to own people. But then they'll have a warning sign when you go into the Smithsonian Museum of Black History saying, if they have it their way, this is not portraying, this is not really accurate. Are you kidding me? it, it
That's crazy.
it's so obvious what it is but they're just pressing through. They don't have any rhyme or reason. They have nothing to defend. It's just they're in fucking power and we're gonna press through. Sorry, Auntie. That's what we gonna do. We're in power. Stop us. And they don't have anything now. I mean, they're legitimately talking, you know what? We got nothing to run on. See, I get it. Let's go back and attack Anthony Fauci from 6 years.
Uh,
That absolute kangaroo court of a hearing that occurred on that day.
I so many things to worry about for the American people.
Yeah.
And that's what they choose to worry about.
Because that's what they want. They don't have anything else. They're done. They're cooked. The economy, GDP, I mean, everything's cooked. Prices are higher. Grocery prices are the highest they've been in 50 years. They're absolutely, positively cooked. Man, you're like frozen, yo. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out I was looking at something, but it took me off the screen. There we go.
I was like, hold on, man. Can nobody stand that still for a long time?
Am
Or he's gifted. But you're back.
I back to being frozen?
No, you're good. You're
Okay,
good.
okay, okay.
But yeah, what are we talking about?
I don't know, man. Oh, that Anthony Fauci kangaroo
Yeah.
court. That shit was insane.
It's like they don't have anything. So it's like, what can we do to find a cordial, a political cordial, something that could divide us? Ooh, let's talk COVID. And now obviously, let's say this too.
He was responsible for killing millions of people.
And you see in his diaries, he does admit in his diary that there was a lab leak, something that happened in China in terms of more of a gamma research type thing that looked like it wasn't natural. Like it didn't come for like a wet market in China. It probably came out of a lab, but it doesn't mean you still don't have mitigation efforts. And then it's so funny they blame they trying to connect Fauci with Biden for some kind of reason. But the time of the pandemic, when it started, everything he did was under Trump. And Fauci didn't lock down anything. They keep saying he didn't release the lockdown. Dr. Fauci is a scientist. He
Yeah,
had no power.
he was a citizen at the time.
That's
They
what
brought him in.
was he the head? I think at the time he was the director of the health, and then he resigned. And during the Trump administration, he was operating in that role. Remember, he would do those press conferences every day with Trump. When Trump would just say the craziest shit, and he just sitting there trying his best to mitigate and get through this, but having this dingbat. Then he admits on tape Trump telling people that it's not dangerous, and then telling Bob Woodward on tape how bad it
He
was.
was head of the Corona Task Force. That nigga came in. It was
I mean,
dog. It was a shit show.
because of the fact it looks like it was a man-made product for biological warfare, it looks as if that there
From
is,
what we heard today, they said that it's inconclusive. Like they don't really know what happened. That's all speculation.
and
I don't trust them. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them in their speculation, man.
absolutely, and it doesn't mean that COVID still wasn't real, that a million people didn't die from it, and that the
Yeah.
proven to save lives. And the vaccine, Operation Warp Speed, excuse me, was under the Trump administration.
And it was a success.
And it was a success. And he can't even say anything about it because his dumb ass bashed COVID for so long and whatever he needed to do to win, then he started allowing the people to bash the vaccine where he can't even talk. He can't even use it as a success of his presidency because it wasn't his first term because it worked. And the data came out and they proved that it saved lives, man. I mean, if you didn't
Yeah.
take it, okay, fine. That's cool.
A lot of people try to use that. Well, it didn't stop transmission. It was never meant to stop
It was
transmission.
not meant to stop transmission.
It
It's
was
just
meant to stop killing you.
exactly.
Yeah, it was meant you to stop from dying. Like no one said you. I don't remember them ever saying you couldn't get sick from COVID or you couldn't catch COVID. I honestly didn't believe that people believe that's how vaccines work.
Crazy. Like it helps you to not, saying to not catch it. If you have it, you will never catch it. You're just immune from it. No,
Yeah, no, it just means you won't die from it likely.
hide from it. If you get it, it's not as bad because you have the vaccine for it. I mean, that's what we talk about, man. People just have bring back the layers and think a little harder. They just want to be cynical for what? And then for Dr. Fauci to plead the Fifth Amendment, his constitutional right, 111 times, because when you go to a hearing and you hear the man who's been obsessed with you, Senator Rand Paul from Kentucky, he's saying, I want to put Fauci in a jail cell. It's like, bro, I'm not saying shit to your ass. I'm just going to plead
Yeah, I
the.
wouldn't say anything to you because he's also testified before.
Exactly, man.
You know,
Exactly.
the worst part is that it's so much bullshit going on a regular basis. It's hard to even like try to keep up
Yeah.
with all the information, like to really get into the details of it. Because now you got to go read Dr. Fauci's diary to see if the senators represent what he said in there correctly, right? And
Yeah.
then you got people like Stephen A. Smith saying, well, you know, you got to answer some questions. You just can't plead the fifth 111 times because it looks bad. And it's like, he has a team of lawyers telling him what he should do. And they decided, because he's not a political figure, that he needed to shut the hell up for the duration of that. And now we got all these shotgun experts, and it's like this assault on people that actually have the profession. And it's just it's man, it's crazy.
I
It's
mean,
crazy the
but
world we
nobody,
live
then
in,
nobody
bro.
talks about the fact that Donald Trump played the fifth 440 times. Back in 2022 when he was under
True. What?
deposition for Letitia James investigation.
420 times.
400,
Everything happens so fast, you just can't keep up with it. It's
440
just you. There's so much stuff just flowing at you all the time.
in 2022 because of Letitia James is going after his family for the fraud case, his companies. He pled the fifth 440 times. His constitutional right. And nobody says anything about Donald Trump's guilt. But then,
well, I mean,
in terms of the Republicans, not ours, not us, we know it's guilt. We know that when you do that, it means something. But on their end, oh, it just meant his constitutional right. But now with Fauci, you see, he can't admit anything that he's guilty. And it's like, oh, and see that's what we do, bro. I mean, that's the other side, right? That's what we're dealing with. That's the Republicans. Now, this is why this side has beat us the last 2 out of 3 elections for some kind of damn reason. They beat us, and this is the reason why. You know, I may have an idea. So we're live from a land where we got this.
Happened is that Ken Martin ran for DNC chair because for people that I think there's a lot of people that don't understand how that process works either. There's 450 DNC members that are from different state parties, state party chairs, et cetera, that vote on who the DNC chair is. And when Ken was running for that position, one of the main things he ran on was releasing an autopsy that would hopefully address some of the reasons why people are increasingly not interested in supporting these institutional groups like the DNC to offer any form of accountability. So at the DNC in our first meeting, a major part of what we were talking about was what is going to go into this autopsy. And I remember bringing up in this meeting and saying, I know a lot of it, and this was with all the officers, including Ken, where I said, I know a lot of you guys probably don't want to talk about this, but if you're going to talk about why we lost young voters, you have to talk about Gaza. You have to talk about inflation. And I remember on the Gaza part in particular, to my surprise, the officers were like, yeah, no. We absolutely do want to talk about that. We need to talk about that. It's really important and we shouldn't shy away from it. And then Ken's friend, Paul Revere, who he hired to do this job, I think what happened is he was doing such a terrible job of it that Ken just told him, stop, this isn't working. It's not worth your time. Just stop working on it entirely. And then Ken was pressured on doing the thing that he actually ran on doing, which was releasing the autopsy. And then it ended up being released where none of the issues that actually decided the election were talked about, whether it was Gaza, inflation, or Joe Biden's age. It was just a bunch of internal mechanics and zero conversation around the issues. And also, it couldn't even include a conclusion to begin with. And I think that's what really happened there. And it's emblematic of broader challenges that Ken has had in his leadership of the institution. We're now at a position where the RNC has over $100 million on hand, and the DNC has $2 million in debt 18 months into Ken's term. Your job as a chair of the DNC is to raise money. And now we're seeing not only can he raise money and he's been able to continue to not raise money, he's also throwing his phone at staff, which is certainly not going to help morale. And ultimately, what we need to focus on is what are we actually doing to move forward? Because I think part of what's happening here is a lot of these institutions have focused on just purely looking at fundraising. That's all that really matters to them a lot of the time is for candidates, like who they take seriously, who can raise money. And sometimes that can be a good indicator, but it doesn't really take into account candidate quality. I think a lot of the time we could win races if we had higher quality candidates, even if they didn't come from backgrounds where they had tons of wealthy friends that they could raise money from, if they actually presented a vision that people actually believe in. Because imagine if we didn't have to spend nearly as much money gaslighting voters with corporate PAC money that were there for their interests, and instead actually were there for their interests.
That was former Democrat National Vice Chair David Hogg. His story. He was part of the survivors of the Parkland shooting.
Yeah.
And you see what we're dealing with on the Republican side, just their craziness, how they control the narrative with disinformation, misinformation, division, fear of politics. And you wonder how come they continue to have an opportunity to be in some type of power. Something just really happened right now that I would never expected. My wife brought me something to drink. What is?
I missed that. Oh, shit, that's out of your. Well,
I mean, hold on. I'm in the middle of something. She just bring me. She doesn't do these things. What is it? It was pretty good.
What is it?
Sparkling lemonade.
Oh,
Because all of a sudden I'm sitting here talking, and then she brings this. Okay, I guess. Hey, things could change. Don't ever think status quo. That's why we're trying to fight the status quo now.
you
Hey, I
funny,
was
man.
so used to the status quo. She brought this to me. I was like, "What the hell is this?"
You funny, man.
But there could be change.
Nah, she don't bring you nothing to drink after.
I mean, dude, she doesn't. I'm serious. Like, it's not because I don't expect it. I don't care. Like, it's not been something I always said. Well, you have to bring me something to drink, woman. It's that she don't. But when she does, it's like, and she brought it to me. I don't know if you saw it. Through
No,
the
I didn't see it. I was looking at something.
dropped it in here, and I'm like, what? So that was interesting. But to go back to what we're dealing with on our side and how we lost to Trump in the past 2 out of 3 elections because of the fact that what we're dealing with a DNC ran by Ken Martin. As you see the numbers, Republicans have $100 million in cash and the DNC is $2 million in debt. In 18 months that he's been there as the DNC chairman, he replaced Jamie Harrison, who he got removed because you lose to Trump.
Did he lose to Trump during was Jamie Harrison head of the DNC during the first administration too?
Yeah, they lost. Yeah, I think he was when he lost not in 2016. I don't know who was the DNC chair then, but I know in
Okay.
2024 he was, and because of that fact, and just they were just in shambles, man. Because at the end of the day, you seen Jamie Harrison. He's just
Yeah, I know. I mean, he's the one that said that he don't want the Democrats using they shit. If
saying
we don't, if we don't,
yeah, the
if we
DNC
don't support the Democrat
socially.
agenda,
Yeah,
we hate Democrats. Don't use their infrastructure. I believe that's how he said it.
but at the same time, we're a big tent party, right? Like it should be for everybody. But no, not when the establishment keeps losing and he's an establishment goon. I mean, he ran for Senate in North South Carolina where he's from. We lost to Lindsey Graham. Um, may God rest his soul.
No,
Maybe.
no. Come on, man. Like we don't have to be gentle post life about war criminals, bro.
Well, I just wasn't done. I was getting ready to go ahead and just say maybe that I was going to degrade to like no, and then I was going to say fuck him.
Yeah,
So,
fuck him, man. Fuck Lindsey Graham. Like we don't the
but let's go back to
if
James.
you're that bad, man, you shouldn't like we shouldn't have to be because we're on air talk to you. The president said a goddamn precedent. He said, "Thank God." Was it who was the one that died?
Uh,
The
Bob Mueller, Robert,
Mueller.
sorry, Robert Mueller. Robert Mueller.
Thank God he's dead, man. He can no longer hurt the American people. That's Lindsey Graham.
Yeah, Lindsey Graham.
It's a net positive that Lindsey Graham died earlier than he should have.
And now you think about, and his sister is now going to be the candidate they're going to put up to become the senator. She has
More mediocre white shit.
no experience, but DEI, right?
That's DEI at its finest.
There's no such thing as DEI punch. It's colorblind. We're in a colorblind society.
It's merit based. It's merit based. That's what it was.
It's merit based. It's absolutely merit based.
I was watching that interview. I watched a little bit more of it,
Merit based.
and what I think, I've been thinking about it this week because I've been thinking like, oh yeah, we got to figure out. I think I even said it last week. Like we got to figure out a way to also work back with the moderate Democrats, the establishment, like because the goal is to not have to negotiate with the Republicans and just negotiate with at least the moderate Democrats. And I'm all for like things moving fast, but not making major swings that change like like that pushes the change too far before we know that our process is successful, right?
Dave State,
But
Fox News weekend host.
we need to crush the Democrat Party. That like
Well, right
all Democrat progressives, huh?
Tuesday is going to be a big slate of
Yeah.
primary.
All progressives need to think that they can win in Democratic seats across the country and get independence and people off their couch because we're promising
Well, it looks like it
to
did.
push for what they're supposed to. Like there should be no more working with the Democratic Party as an establishment. If they are there,
Well,
and
they
I'm like I used to be like, well, if they didn't support Israel, now everybody needs to be crushed.
governor of
We
Wisconsin.
got to get them out of.
She's the Democratic nominee is going to be a Democratic socialist on Tuesday, and it looks like she's going to win a nomination for governor of Wisconsin, Francesca Wong.
Is that a red state?
Wisconsin's a pretty much purple state.
Okay.
Um, they used to be heavy red gerrymandered, but they were able to go in and get some power and start getting it more even. But now a Democrat socialist, she's a part of the Democratic Socialist Party wing. She's going to be the nominee because people are dropping out. Even the black brother, what's his name? That he was the lieutenant general for Wisconsin at one point in time. Was it Mandel Jones?
Well, I would have.
I can't
I'm
remember.
not following the races that closely.
But the thing is, if she gets the nomination, she's going to be running as a Democratic socialist for the governor of Wisconsin. So you see what's going on with in terms of what David Hogg was saying there in that clip, where now because the Democrat Party has decided to keep on with these candidates who are milk toast centrists, who ain't about nothing, now the people are forcing the issue. And they're directing themselves going more to the left with people who are actually saying and speaking to the issues economically. And those are democratic socialists that are speaking to the issues.
If socialism's gonna get me some health care, call me a socialist, man.
Bro, it's one of
And,
those where if you didn't want people curious about socialism, capitalism should have worked better.
did you see that clip of
Doesn't
the head of the Democrat,
work
the
for it.
DSA,
Say it again.
the DSA chair? Did you see that clip of the DSA chair?
Oh yeah, but she was like, no, yes, yeah,
Yeah. At
yeah.
first, I was like, man, that's not good. But now I'm thinking, there's no better way to do it,
Yeah,
right?
no
When
time.
I say that, look, we want
Yeah,
to abolish the presidency and the Senate. I'm challenging you to go look it up and see what it means instead of just being like, oh, this is a radical position,
but that's what they rather do.
right?
Most people are going to listen more than go find out for themselves. That's why
No, I
they,
mean,
that's
but
always
you can't be trying to talk around it no more. There's no way to
you have to go look it
talk
up.
around that our goal is to radically change the way the country is governed, which is also in our constitution as our right. That
Yeah.
if the government stops serving us, that we are allowed to change it.
Yep, absolutely.
It is our constitutional right to do so. So for the people, what is it? By the people, of the people,
By
for the
other
people,
people,
of the people, by the people, for the people. Right? And I think there like you could probably galvanize some a little bit of patriotism and people being included on the fact that our government for too long has not worked for us and they're exasperating the issue. So you can't be like, well, you know, abolishing prison system. Our prison systems don't work. Yes, we want to get rid of prisons. If you want to call it whatever it is that we use to detain violent criminals, prisons, fine.
yeah.
But the way we police and people spend their life, in Texas, after August 1st, you could get life or like I must call it life, but it's really like 20 years for a 3-5. If you got an ounce of weed, that's a life charge.
And that's something that yes, 70% of Texans are for THC, for legal marijuana. They're legitimately going against the will of the people based on the ideology. That's the Republican Party today. They don't give a shit. It's a ideology of Christian nationalism, of religion fueled. That Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, that lunatic of a lieutenant, he is a lunatic. He is a okay. We're not going to keep going with that.
Nah, man, keep calling him a lunatic, bro. Like we can't be gentle
No,
or
I'm going to keep this.
calm in our criticism
Yes,
of these
he's a piece of shit.
evil people, man.
Sorry,
To over criminalize smoking weed, where we have it in legalized in several states,
it's a way to
recreational.
black people, though. That's what the thing, because usually people disproportionately who use those tend to be our people. We enjoy to chill out.
Oh, wait. We use it at the same rate that white people use it at.
No, I mean, and be able to lock us up for it. That's what.
Yeah, but the goal is a slave population.
Yeah, to be able to lock us up for it, because disproportionately they will be locking us up for it, because they'll be looking for us to have the marijuana.
But for that to be
so they're
a branch of your penal system, right? Of course, we need to abolish prisons. Because that's what your government, a whole state's government, despite what the people are saying, when it's supposed to be for the people, despite what they're saying, your whole government wants to put you in life for some weed. That's the prison system. If that's representative of the prison system, then yes, get rid of the prison system.
Exactly. Because,
right?
Like I said, and my bad, y'all really misspoke. Like, goddamn, it was not because white folk enjoy weed, bro. But the fact of the matter is, opportunity like the war on drugs, if you make stuff illegal and then you can go after certain communities for it, then you can lock up disproportionately black communities.
You can over police black communities.
Over police.
Because now this is some forbidden substance, right? And it's like, look, that might not be the full gist of getting rid of prisons or abolishing prisons, but it's a start for people to be like, yeah, that's a crazy, like, if you have a gram of weed on you in Texas after August 1st, you can get a 10-year sentence.
That's crazy.
It's ridiculous. Like, you could lose your life over a gram of weed. But
that's the most important issue out of all the issues that people face. It's what people doing their
personal. We gotta lock more people up for what they do in their off time.
Remember personal responsibility, right? That they always say
small government,
right?
Why is small government also over policing? But then you think about things like, all right, well, they say, look, we want to get rid of the Supreme Court. At first, it sounds radical, but then you think about it. There's 9 people deciding the whole direction of a country.
Well, bro, imagine if we got a Democrat socialist president and we got enough in the House where we can pass Medicaid for all and we get it passed. If we have a Supreme Court,
Democratic session, we have to get rid of this.
What a conservative majority we have now, super majority, they could just shoot down the law.
Yeah.
And it's done.
Yeah.
It's over. So it doesn't even matter. Like, the most important thing that we must do, that should be the number one talking point on the very tippy top coming in 2028, whoever that presidential candidate is going to be, is they must be reforming and expanding the Supreme Court. Even to the point of term limits, but definitely expanding the court, because right now, nothing won't get done. We can get all the Democrat socialists we want up in there. If they pass legislation and then people sue the right conservative think tanks or the white corporations through some type of conservative company or Heritage Foundation sues based on some bullshit, they go on and sue it. Then they say, well, you know what? It is unconstitutional because of the fact that it seems that because it's free, because it's coming from tax dollars that need to be paid towards war and calamity. And if it's not war and calamity, it can possibly be for people, because who knows what the results are going to be. But we do know the results, the calamity of war. So therefore, I don't even know why I had all that voice. Like a supreme voice. This is the ruling from the Supreme Court. I mean, they could just overturn it. So that's really it's existential of reforming the court. But when you're still for the party of a establishment that, like James Carville said the other day, he just said it. If Hassan Piker's in the Democrat Party, I'm gone. Well, nobody's going to miss you.
Yeah, nobody cares about James Carville.
Hassan Piker. It's Hassan.
He said something smart 20, 30 years ago. Nobody gives a damn about it. Like that's his only claim to fame is that he said something pretty basic.
Democrat Party, I'm gone. I tell you, I'm done.
Yeah, nobody cares what James Carville has to say about anything. Nobody cares what Bill Maher has to say about anything.
Nobody.
They don't represent the Democratic.
They're just white elites.
Yeah, they don't represent the Democrat. Not even the base. It's interesting. The base is the base of the Democratic Party, right? Is there's a whole 34% of us think that they're Democratic Socialists.
Yeah, that's a third.
That's basically MAGA.
It's a lot. Yeah, that's MAGA.
That's basically MAGA.
They have their own Tea Party problem on the left. The
and if we
that's us
can get enough politicians in,
it's us.
Yeah, because I would say I'm definitely not part of the 66 that is okay with signing off on a genocide or them taking all the corporate donations and siding with the elites and the subsidies and all that shit.
No,
like it's a real possibility that if we get someone in the presidency, we could crush the Democratic Party.
Yeah,
and that's what we have to do because they're fighting hard.
Them to our will, where now people who actually care to govern and make sure the needs of the people are met and put first the basic needs, not all the needs. The basic needs of people are met first. We can then we get rid of the establishment. Now, see, MAGA had their own overtaking, but it was a cult of personality. Now, the fact of the matter is, do we have to also be careful on the left to make sure that we're always making sure the needs of the people are met, even when we get in those positions? Absolutely. Yeah, you still got to make sure that you keep the vision what it is, but we got to get an opportunity to get there first. And now we have a Democratic establishment that's legitimately fighting us. I think that's my favorite word to say, legitimately. Yo, I say that legitimately.
They're hostile.
They're hostile.
Hostile towards us.
I mean, to the point you see Haley Stevens just completely going because she saw the polls. She's about to get her ass handed to her on Tuesday night. And she goes out there on X talking about you just want to blame all Jewish American side of all problems. What?
Never said anything like that. Man said, hey, look, man, he barely even answers the question about Israel. It's like, yo, my views are my views. I just don't think our money should be going towards that.
And she's literally going around with a flyer that had Obama on it and acting as if trying to fool the boomer black community, and it's working in a lot of ways, that Obama endorsed her because he mentioned her name when she was, I guess, chief of staff, when basically they just gave a bailout to the car companies, which was needed, but it was a bailout. Because they mucked it all up.
It was socialism.
Again. So socialism had to swing on in there and save them.
Yeah. Because they were too big to fail.
Had to come on in there. Same with the financial with Wall Street in 08. Our money paid them off and made sure all those dudes that got stocks, as only 92% of the United States citizens do not participate in the stock market. Only 8%. And we bailing out a whole Wall Street where only 8% of the country really affected by it, and those who are rich, and the rest of us, and really against our will, and propagandized to, of why it happened. And then go up, like you said, go up to the bailout, I think, 2011? 2012 was the bailout with GM Motors, whatever the case may be. But she acted as if that she was some, Obama endorsed, and she wasn't. Obama hasn't said nothing about this race. And also on top of that, AIPAC put $60 million in this joint. And then you see the
To get crushed is crazy.
bro, and you see you give money to the AIPAC part is toxic in the Democratic base. And that was
and what's
the autopsy that they refused to release when Ken Martin said, well, we're just going to focus on the lessons. And he's like, what lessons? He was on Pod Save America when Tommy Vito was talking to him, like, what lessons? I think either it was Tommy Vito or the other gentleman. I can't remember his name right now. He's used to be Obama's screenwriter or speechwriter. But he was on there talking about focus on the lessons. But the lesson was, you see what it is. It is toxic in the Democrat Party with the base. This is directly the Democratic establishment saying, "Fuck off."
Yeah, it's an outright rejection of what the party wants.
Outright, what the base.
Like our politicians aren't doing anything.
No, it's the
that
base,
we're asking for.
Nothing.
And telling us that we're asking for too much.
And then by saying Democratic socialists who are speaking to those things, of a genocide in Gaza, of Medicare for all, of affordable housing. Oh no, those ain't Democrats.
If those aren't Democrats, what are Democrats? Because that's the question we've been trying to figure out for the longest amount of time. Is then what are Democrats if affordable housing, Medicare for all is not being a Democrat?
A Republican. And centrist Democrats
are Republicans. Yeah.
That's all. They may not have the narrative or the rhetoric of like transgender people are the bane of society. They may be nicer in that, but in terms of the economic, they're paid off. And it's going to be quote unquote conservative fiscal, being conservatively fiscal or fiscally conservative.
I think a lot of the progressive Democrats are not only going to win their primaries, they're going to win their races.
Well, especially if it's free and fair, there's no interference. And it looks as if, a lot of stuff is getting combated. Trump is losing in court left and right.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to disrupt the system this close to the election.
He just lost another.
I don't think I don't think the infrastructure is in place for him to do something like that. He would have to like do some outright brute shit.
Democracy docket against Mark Elias. 0-19 in these court.
Who's Mark Elias?
Mark Elias is like the Democratic lawyer. Well, he for the voting rights.
Okay.
Democracy docket. He is the lawyer that fights all these cases that go against our constitutional rights and give people the right to keep their voting rights. That's basically what he does as a lawyer. He's the bane. Like Trump can't stand his ass, and he always in his them. Now, obviously, he's doing good work, but the fact of the matter is, because people need to be able to vote, and you see, well, I think centrist Democrats probably wouldn't mind the Save America Act now.
Hey, look, I wouldn't be surprised if they started to endorse it in some way.
Or but what they're trying to do is they're just trying to separate the fact. Like, what happened to that party that came out with that basically the centrist status quo statement? What was the name of that group? They came out a couple of weeks ago to talk against them. Where they go? I can't remember the name of them, but where they go? Like the Progress Center. It was some type of group where they were talking about we're centrist and we're for common sense politics, and they had a little time, but where they been? Nobody cares about any of that no more.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
You can't tell me that the status quo still is going to work again for us when you were last in office, we were still doing bad. And you told us that the stock market was good, and
the market
corporate profits were up.
That's how they base the economy to them. It's how they're doing.
Yeah. I heard someone say this week on one of the shows, when people say the economy, they're talking about the economy in their home. They're not talking about they're not talking about the economy in regards to the macro economy of
Wall Street.
the United States, Wall Street, our imports and exports. Nobody gives a fuck about imports or
Like, I
exports.
have no money in the stock market. What do I give a damn what's going on?
And not that people don't care, but that's not their
Make
jobs.
sure
That's
they have
not
money.
buying milk and bread.
Yeah,
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If imports and exports mean that higher imports and exports mean that people are going to get paid, people will care about it. But they don't care about it because it's all kept at the top,
absolutely.
right?
But
So
that's how at one point in time it wasn't that case. I mean, we had you go back to the 60s, 70s, 50s,
it
60s.
wasn't the case for white people.
Well, what I'm saying is in terms of the economic model for the working class.
I'm
Okay.
about to say it
Yeah,
took
yeah,
it,
you're
we
right.
some of us got successful off of it,
Yeah, let's
but
get
in the 50s, the black unemployment rate was close to
well,
50%.
yeah, let's get it correct. When I talk about that, I'm just talking about in terms of the economic model of how it looks. What we ultimately were not able to participate in. We couldn't be in unions. We couldn't have the same jobs. But at the end of the day,
Yeah,
we benefited from none of this. That's why reparations is a must. But what I'm talking about is just the model of the working class model of how it worked, where the CEO wasn't making 400 times more than the average worker of a company, where
yeah,
they just kept up with the cost of inflation, where we had actual unions and pensions, not 401ks in the stock market. There was actually pensions through companies.
well, the company was responsible to make sure you retired with dignity.
Yes,
They didn't gamble your money on the market.
exactly. And that's the type that economic model worked. But what happened? The power memo with Reagan going in there and attacking division with welfare issues and saying, "Wow, the what was it? The 8 worst words that the government you can hear from your government is like, what we are the government and what can we do for you." Remember, he's had that speech of
Yeah, I
eight
remember
worst
that.
words you can ever hear from your government is, "We are your government and what can we do for you." I'm paraphrasing, but something like that he said. And you know what? I'll probably get the quote just to be quoted it because it was Reagan with his trickle economics ass, trickle down economics. Well, we that came in, and you see what's happened for the past 40 years, changing on his head. Rich people said they weren't getting rich enough, and now we've
Here
had
it goes.
transfer. Go ahead.
The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are "I'm from the government and I'm here to help."
Is there it is. That's crazy, and that has been indoctrinated in the heads of pretty much all the right.
Yeah.
Where if there's any government intervention, even though right now they're saying socialism is bad, as Donald Trump just gets more equity stake in 7 more companies. Just now saying if you wanted these Chips and Science Act incentives, you're gonna give us more of your company. He's just getting more stake from the federal government. That's socialism. I'm sorry. That's communism.
Yeah. Where the state owns
And they're saying the
public
DSA,
companies.
who's saying we want health care, those are the communists. It's not the government who tells you we need to have less government while he tries to change our elections. The one that tells you we should have less government when he's trying to tell institutions what to teach or he's going to take away their funding. They say we want to have less government. That's what we're told. As you're trying to figure out a way to take over elections in the United States of America and suppress the vote, and then do it through executive order, or by calling out and saying that a birthright citizenship, a executive order saying that it's no longer. But you want to have small government. No, they want to use the weight of government to benefit their agenda, an agenda of white supremacy. We see what we're dealing with. And then on our side, there's an establishment who also benefits from that white supremacy patriarchy model. Of they take the money too. And certain people and certain groups get. I mean, did you see Wes Moore? Did you see of your governor? Did you see the clip of your governor? Where Mark?
Wasn't he being like kind of chummy with Mark
Oh my God,
Mo? What is it? What's his name? Mark Mo something.
Mark Wayne Mullen.
Yeah, Mark Wayne Mullen.
Mark Wayne Mullen. Matter of fact,
Well, where were they at?
at some it
I
was
didn't watch the whole clip, but
it was some I don't know what's in that. It was some. I think it was like it was like the United Governors Convention where all the governors met up in the states, and I'm trying to find the clip here if I can find it. But it's basically it is here. But he was just just real chummy.
it's shameful, man.
Just
But
thank you so much. We really appreciate you, and then they want to say the things of, well, you want to find somewhere which you could work with. No, not with these people. No. There's no nuance with these people. There's no, well, at least he's doing something, that we need for Maryland. No. If everything else is bad and you're saying this is how we can work with them, so you know how it works with people, then they think you're supporting them completely.
yeah.
And then you lose the people.
Or it's even safe to say that they only promote bad policy.
All the time. And you think, oh, well, it's working for what I want. But what do
Right?
you want? What does it
There's
matter if Maryland gets some stuff, but then they storming and raiding fucking hair salons in Atlanta, trying to find migrants. And I'm trying to find this damn clip. I'm putting the word chummy in.
my sensible mind says that you're supposed to try to find common ground. But my radical mind says fuck them.
But see,
Don't even show up to the event.
but that's how they trying to control it. Well, we got to find common ground. How do you find common ground with people who don't care for human rights?
Yeah, people that don't want to fix the system, they just want to add cruelty to it.
Like how do you find common ground with them?
Right? Did you see the story, the post I sent you about them locking or putting ankle monitors on the TPS?
Yes.
The Haitians that had their TPS protections removed.
Yes.
That's
crazy.
insane.
And for them to order to stay here, ankle monitor or be deported. It's disgusting because think about it. Because they also understand it's a Republican state and you're going to hurt the economy. So let's say, so let's just change it on the fly. Well, we'll put a monitor on you or we'll deport your ass. What do you think that Haitian's going to do? As Haiti right now is level 4 on list in this country of countries that they tell you that you should not travel to. It's on the list of countries that you should not travel to. But
They'll tell you that Haitian nationals can return. While the mayor of Springfield said, "Hey, it's a bad idea."
Yeah. So why?
It's a bad idea.
How do we still make them look as if they're?
It might have been the mayor of Ohio that said that.
Well, the
governor of Ohio. That's what I meant. Governor.
He said it.
I think it was the governor.
It's not a good idea because
it's going to disrupt a major economy. And these neighborhoods that these people pay taxes in, that are relatively safe neighborhoods, they've brought industry back there, and they got them on ankle monitors. These are law abiding migrants.
They were here legally
For some of them, close to 20 years, and all of because of some weird gripe with this, or even notion of this white replacement theory. Like they're such in fear of becoming the minority that the only way they could combat it is with more cruelty, right? Like their options aren't to like let it go and figure out a way to, and when I use the word assimilate these people into American society, I don't mean it the way that white people use it, or like the right uses it. Because again, we can't just say white people. I'm going to say the right, and that's mostly made up of white folks. But people with that ideology, you know, it's
It's just,
they're so afraid of being the minority,
well, it's been indoctrinated in their heads because white supremacy, they need to have something they could be supreme over.
or
And
they'd have to live with their own mediocrity. They'd have to realize that they're nowhere near as special as what they think their white blood or white skin give. Like it's insane that we're even talking about this in 2026. And people will tell you, well, no, it's just like, temporary meant temporary. So we're gonna send these people to a war zone. They're
it's
sending migrants to Sudan.
because it's not about what we talked about. It's not about either. It's not about illegal immigration. It's about immigration. Period. Stephen Miller doesn't want any immigration. It's white supremacy.
Yeah,
When they
that's
say the Western
blatant.
civilization is being attacked, what do you think they're talking about when they say Western civilization? Western civilization. What do you think they're referring to?
Oh, my white folks.
Ah! Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Like, it's not about illegal immigration. It's not about a pathway to citizenship. Because most people who are here now undocumented is because they came on a visa and the system's so broken the visa expires, then there's no system for a pathway, or they're bogged down in these rows behind all this waiting list, and they're here for 20, 25 years, not breaking no laws, but building a whole life. Because it's not about illegal immigration. These racist white supremacy motherfuckers don't want any migration in the country. And who they can attack easy enough is Haiti, and by saying they don't assimilate. What does that even mean? And you go
I
protect
have no clue.
Haiti, and you see, if you go back to, there were actually a group of people that actually overcame their enslavers, had a revolution. But
They're the reason why we got the Louisiana Purchase. They
and then what
kicked
the white
they
do
they
though?
kicked Napoleon's ass so bad.
And then what the white folk do? Put sanctions because of the fact that they lost slavery, but they were able to have the power to still uphold them. They made them give 50% of their GDP to them yearly
For like
for
100
200
something
years,
years, for 100 plus years.
destroying the country.
And then they just assassinated their president a couple of years ago. An actual hit team assassinated the president.
And they're like,
That's some storybook shit.
and you should go back there because of what? And you're just a law-abiding citizen working every day. And they're so willing to stay here now, they're willing to be tracked, to have an ankle bracelet on. It's disgusting.
That's like the what is it when they put the numbers on the Jews, right? Like we're building concentration centers, concentration camps, and they're gonna be like, no, they're detention centers. No, we're building facilities to store law-abiding migrants, and we're putting them on ankle monitors so that we can identify them, not as they're criminals. Like ankle monitors are for criminals.
Yes.
Instead of even fixing the system, we decided to embarrass and subjugate these people basically. And it's insane that we're having this conversation in
Because
2026.
you have a group of people in this country who now are in positions of power, who believe that black people need to be subjugated, that black people are the worst of the worst, that black people are no good. They believe in broken families, that they love sex and violence, even though we know the historical data that you cannot change. The most savage, the most Neanderthal, animalistic group demographic of people in this country's history,
In world history.
in the history of the planet.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
don't think any other group comes to the scale of violence that white people in general, but Europeans have instituted on the world to their people and to everyone else. Like,
People,
see, at least Russia, right, is contained to Russia, right? Like that famine, them all them people Stalin killed was in Russia, right? But like, if we include all of Europe, the Europeans have done some of the most heinous stuff. Not even some, the most heinous stuff, and killed the most people
even
in
with
the history of the world.
when they complain about people coming over the border, first of all, saying we let them, it wasn't a let. People came over the border illegally. But then they don't talk about why people leave their country. Like, it's amazing to me, American individualism and American exceptionalism, where you would think people just want to come here because we're America. No, if you look back to the history of the countries, especially in Latin America, why people have to make the treacherous journey to try to come to this country, because something that we usually did to their country to destabilize it, sanction it to all hell, and now the countries can't function. Nobody has jobs, so they got to come here. Like,
We're actively starving people in Cuba right now.
somebody loves who's born in their country will want to leave their country just because. Most people who are born in their country have pride in their country. They don't want to leave it, but they don't
Nobody
have
wants
a
to walk
choice.
2,000 miles anywhere now.
They don't have a choice.
Yeah. Nobody wants to walk 2,000 miles
Come on,
anywhere.
man. It's stupid. It's ignorant. But it's all set in place to keep the class and keep the patriarchy the way it is. By any ways possible, if they have to rip us all apart for them to stay in power, they would. And then you get shit like this, where you got the Democratic establishment, people that say they for something, and they doing this.
You got a question?
I talk to this guy quite a bit, by the way.
Do you?
Yeah.
He does, and also,
I answer your call too.
you do, and actually, I want to thank you for that.
Yeah.
And also I want to thank you for being here
I should have
because
Googled him though, because I thought he was better looking than that.
we're doing our best here. But I also just want to take a moment to say thank you. First of all, for being here, and because your presence really does matter, and the level of responsiveness that we have had, the level of communication that we have had, it has been very real. And I just want to say that I know I speak for a lot of governors here when we say we really do appreciate it, and there has been an absolute difference in what we have seen from the start of the administration to now. So I just want to say how much we appreciate that.
Mark Wayne Mullen said in a press conference, if state officials in the states do not listen to their federal mandated incentives for voting in their state, he threatened them with jail time. But we appreciate you being here.
I don't know. Maybe we don't know enough. I would like to say because we don't know enough about the process or what they're doing. But
Well, keep it private then. Don't say nothing. Just don't
how
say.
are we supposed to trust you after that?
That's what I'm saying, because you may have you got a point, Punch. Stuff could be happening behind the scenes. Maybe
like maybe we don't know certain things.
They are a club, bro. Let's be honest. That we're not in. He is an elite. He is a governor of a state. He is an elite. And there is a level of eliteness, even when you're a black one, that They give you some opportunity somewhere because you get in the position, but usually ultimately you tend to work for somebody giving to your campaign, and they not doing it off the goodness of their heart. They want something in return. But the fact of the matter is, not the way the people see it. We see this awful administration, what they're doing to our neighbors, to migrants in this country. The attack, having Haitians who are here legally wearing ankle bracelets. That is a working of Mark Wayne Mullen. People are part of the black diaspora. Westmore, Governor Westmore. But then you say, well, we thank you for being here, and we really appreciate it. And we trust that to help us go against the fascist. That's what they're trying to tell us to trust. And see, the people understand now. So guess what we're doing? We're going away from it. And now they're literally, what you say, Punch? Hostile.
That's why I said earlier, we have to crush the Democratic. Like, we can't, it's no longer, we have to get them in the minority, or at least a large enough, we got to get enough of our people in to where they have to deal with
they
us.
Need our votes for shit.
Yeah. And that 33% means they need our votes.
They're going to need the votes for the DSA. They're going to need votes.
Yeah, you need our votes. And we're almost fine with being disillusioned because it's already bad enough.
Well, the thing is, it's no issue with negotiating and having, but the thing is, you understand, we have a powerful vote, so you're going to have concessions. Concessions are going to be made that not going to benefit a corporation, that's not going to benefit no subsidies, that's not going to benefit some multinational rich billionaire conglomerate. It's going to go towards working people, period. No incentives, no sundowning, not it going away. And then the rich point of the legislation that benefits the rich and the higher class, those are permanent. None of that. We through with it.
Yeah. I think we might be on the brink of like major revolution in this country. Because I think that I probably said it a long time ago. I think that our message will resonate more with the far right than the moderate message is going to.
But like you said, it
resonate with the moderate right,
because it's going to come to the point, like you say, like with the Republicans, of how MAGA took over to the point where now, if they say something, they lose, they get primaried.
That's and how we can actually find consensus with some of these people on the right, especially the young folks. No aid to Israel.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, you want aid to Israel? Primary in his ass. And it's such a...
That's a... These are...
Oh, we can't do that now.
Things that are majorly turning on both parties. And with a real economic plan, we might be able to get some of these people. I think the Democrats, because they only offer ideology to normal Republicans, you can't get anyone to say, yeah, we need free healthcare. But everybody wants free healthcare.
Well, it's always just going to the right of things. It's never going to the left of what the base wants. It's going to the other side. Because we always talk about
it. And honestly, it's going to the fucking middle.
It's conditioned, but
we never go to the middle.
It's conditioned for nothing. It's all culture wars.
We say it all the time. If all of Americans want it, it's kind of the middle.
That's the moderate position. But
that's the moderate position.
Wars. The stuff where that it doesn't matter, that has no meaning, but it becomes something that people fear, so they vote in fear of it, where it's just not a thing. Like he literally says, we go transgendered men and women sports. I mean, it's not a thing. It's so minuscule, it doesn't affect anything. But they make
Sharia laws taken over.
Sharia law. Yes, anything they do, they make it the biggest issue. Why, even when they talk about the DSA candidates about defund the police, they say, no, we don't want to defund it. I like what Francesca, the Democrat Socialist nominee, Francesca Wong, came on Fox News, and she asked her, do you want to defund the police? She was like, no. Yes, and it's a strategy that they're doing. They're just saying no, and no add to it. And they're like, So you don't want to? So what do you mean? But you just said you wanted this. No, I don't want it. Because they're just doing the same thing that they do. They literally will say something and then go on air and say something else, and nobody says nothing. So we just do the same thing. But you said that you wanted the
Can't
fun.
beat
You
them
said,
to join them.
sweet, the fun police. But now I don't want to no more. No. But you're a liar. Oh. So now you want me to go back to my old position because it suits you to argue with me from that position, then meet me at where I'm at now. Because can we, as candidates, can we grow?
And they never repeat the moderate positions that we say, like Medicare for all. You know, they never repeat those. Like those aren't positions that are also held by the DSF.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like those are positions held by, and they only choose. And that's like from a Republican, I can understand it. From a Democrat, I don't understand, and I understand why they do it because they hate the American people, right? Like that's the best way we can say it. Our party hates
Yeah,
us.
because you get in the way of corporations and corporate PAC money and what enriches them and what keeps them in power, what keeps them, because it's a nice job to be a congressman or a senator. They work
Yeah.
like half the year. They don't barely work. They get paid. They get paid money all kinds of ways through all types of avenues. That's why they go into Congress maybe worth no money. They come out worth millions.
David Hawk said it on that interview, and I thought it was good. Like, if we didn't spend so much money trying to gaslight the American people into believing we cared about their issues and actually just cared about their issues, we probably wouldn't have to spend so much money. We probably win some races in these red states.
Well, one of the clips that we posted on Correctly Mistaken podcast, check it out on Instagram, and at Only the Noble. Not at Punches because he doesn't want this stuff on there.
Yeah.
But you can check it there.
They can know I'm not on social media.
Where we literally say, if they would just do what the people say, they'll never lose.
Never.
But it's not about what the people say. It's about what the people who put money in their pockets say. And those same people give money to those media corporations. Those media corporations then turn around and pay their anchors over some amounts of money. And it goes on. And they protect capital. They protect the establishment. They protect the corporation because they're incentivized to do so in detriment of the people. And now that has to change. And it's...
Go
ahead. You good.
No, go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
It's going to... And now you see gets to the point that the people are like, look, we're forcing this issue. Because really, this is a huge... Like on Tuesday night, those polls are actually, accurate, which, they believe to be so, when Haley Stevens now is just, literally just, she's just desperate now. And if Abdul Saeed wins this by like 15 points, by 10 plus points, this is literally showing how the people,
referendum.
Yes, they can overcome $60 million that AIPAC has put in this race. To win by that decisive, that is going to be a earthquake of saying, holy shit. Had to do it, Auntie.
And you know what? Not really off the subject, but all black people, they got to get out of our way.
Say it again?
I said old black people got to get out of our way.
The boomers.
They are sacrificing. They are mortgaging our future by supporting these middle of the road do nothing Democrats.
Because at the end of the day, what they see, and when they lived in the time where they were able to get houses and be able to retire and be able to buy a house that they can live in forever, and the property value is super high, and they bought it for like $60,000. And when they went to college, and it only cost about
$5,000.
Whatever the case may be. Well, Lauren Ingram always talks about, when I put myself through college when I was a waitress. Yeah, when college was $5,000 a year, and a waitress salary in the 1970s can do it.
Yeah.
Do it now. But the fact of the matter is, they seem to not understand that, and they buy the propaganda too. Where these young people were born with silver spoons in their mouth. They just ain't doing it because
They don't know how hard we had it.
they don't know how hard it is. They ain't got it. No,
That whole black lady talking about how Abdul Sayed only speaks Arabic and
she ended up apologizing for that too. Like
she should never be allowed. She should be instantly. Wasn't she like a legislator or something, like a school board person or something like that?
are you talking about it was the other I think the other she said something similar to that as or he's
Get her, primary her. She has to
some
get
other
out of her
stuff like
position.
violence towards women, and he is very misogynistic and accuse him of shit that he's just not. He's just not. And the
Her
fact that
Congressional Black Caucus promoted Haley Stevens, endorsed her. Like it's a shame.
like Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan endorsed her too. Well, it ain't gonna work.
It's not.
It ain't gonna work. And then they keep saying, well, electability is the issue. Is Abdul Saeed, is he electable? Yeah, you about to see nobody wants Mike Rogers and Republicans are. It's so funny. They will sit there on these news stations and these mainstream media, and they will sit there and break down how the Republican Party, all these numbers, how awful it is, how bad it is, the worst ever, the lowest ever. Republicans are underwater in terms of Trump. Now they believe Democrats are better than them in immigration. They will sit there and go back and go poll after poll of why Republicans are not popular, and then turn around in the same breath and say, well, it may be tough for Saeed to beat Mike Rogers in the general, though. You just explained how bad Republicans are. And Mike Rogers supports everything Trump does. He's MAGA. And now you're saying in the same breath, it's going to be hard for him to be elected? What? But you just broke down why Republicans are doing awful poll after poll. They're underwater here. They're underwater there. They're hurting. They're going to get a blue wave in the midterms, maybe. But if you select Saeed, whoa. Now electability may be an issue. He may give that state to the Republicans. You just said how bad they are. It's like they don't
That's because he wants universal healthcare. That's why.
They don't even.
That's why he's gonna lose.
How they contradict themselves in the same fucking breath. And the thing is, people just listen to it and they're just like, and yeah, and it just breezes through. All right. Now, fuck Officer Tatum.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure, man.
We ain't gonna get into him because we were thinking about it, but we've been out here long enough. But
He's a dumbass.
That had to be said before we got off this air.
Yeah, man.
He coon ass, tap dancing ass.
And for what though? He got made to look like an idiot. Was it Nancy Grace or what's her name?
Oh, Massa.
She cooked his ass.
Yeah, it isn't the same theology of test.
It's this. He said an equivalent test to the lie detector test.
It is not the same theology of test.
How many lie detector tests are there? That man's an idiot.
All right, man, he's an idiot. But the thing is, on YouTube, he has like over 3 million subscribers, which I didn't know. And on his comments, about 2,000 comments a post. Great way to go. Go get him. There is, and then the right people fund them. Because see, all these guys are funded. They're well funded. The left isn't. We got a crowdsource. True Left Politics podcast. True Left show.
Politic of the people, man.
Like we ain't got no.
We shouldn't have it any other way.
It's exactly.
That should be the fight.
But the fact of the matter, I mean, you even see, I'm not going to get on into it. But anyways, in terms of content creators coming out now that supposedly live in Michigan.
Yeah.
I mean, and fuck Officer Tatum.
But the best 3 words spoken tonight, man.
Sorry, Auntie. That's just for that to be said again.
Nah, Auntie, you needed to hear that. That was the most Christ-like thing we can say about him.
I'm telling you, Auntie. Just look him up. The man was in Parks had a car. Why was she on the bus in the first place?
That's such a stupid fucking statement. Why would we orchestrate an issue to demonstrate over instead of having an organic one? Who the fuck cares? Maybe because that's how politics work.
Y'all know what we try to do here on the Correctly Mistaken podcast, man. As we hold our own heads, because the path of getting people to critical think it is not an easy one. It is treacherous.
Yeah.
It's almost, you could compare it to an analogy of making that treacherous trip from your country to try to get here for a better life. Just because of the fact of how indoctrination and conditioning, how it runs so deep. And it's all to keep us divided, to keep the things that we actually deserve as American people based on what we pay for, what we put into the government, the taxes that we pay. The road of critical thinking is tough, man. And we're trying to care for the other. Because American individualism to me, said a thing on Facebook at West Say, I just believe it's one of another country's greatest sins. This individualism, this hyper
individualism, I agree with. Maybe not individualism.
Yeah, maybe that. Yeah,
but hyper individualism. I 100% agree with.
Yeah. So until next time, man. For my boy, my man, my brother, that man Punch. I'm your boy Osei, man. This is the Correctly Mistaken podcast. Y'all stay up. Y'all know we is. We ain't going nowhere. Appreciate y'all listening. Appreciate the downloads. The best is yet to come. Y'all be blessed, y'all. Peace.